Do something today that your future self will thank you for. Have you heard about this quote before? I have. In fact, this quote is the quote that actually leads me to do this massive open online course. This MOOC course entitled Sustainable Construction, and it is fully supported by the University Tenusion Malaysia. My name is Nur Pazlihatun Mitimana. I'm a senior lecturer in Construction Management Department at the Faculty of Technology Management and Business, University Tenusion Malaysia. Welcome I bid to you all to this course. I hope you are going to get benefits out of this online course. Before I proceed, sharing with you my ideas in sustainable construction, let me introduce myself to you first. I have a PhD in environmental research from Imperial College London back in 2013. I have Masters in Engineering Management from University Putra Malaysia back in 2009, and prior to that I graduated with a Bachelor of Civil Engineering from University Technology Malaysia in 2003. Soon after I graduated from University Technology Malaysia, I gathered experience as civil engineer, less than 5 years, in multiple construction companies before I joined UTHM. I have joined UTHM since 2007, and plus minus I have less than 10 years of experience in supervising and teaching PhD, Masters, undergraduate students, especially in construction studies. So this is my background. I hope whatever that I'm going to share with you will fit to your expectation, and I hope someday you are going to apply whatever that I'm going to share with you today, so that we can change, together we can change the future, and we can thank ourselves at that point of time that we have somehow spent time throughout this course. So I'm aiming to get participation from many parties, especially students, professionals, and the public who involved in construction of house, building, or any facilities. Because this course is actually suitable for those who wants to, or who's currently, or who is planning to build something, whether it's a house, a dream house, or whether it's a big building, high-rise building, or to build information that we are going to gather from this course can help us to balance many aspects so that we can build sustainably. The aim of this course is to introduce building technology for health and comfort of building occupants. So this sustainable construction course has 3 main objectives. The first objective is to relate the basic principles of health and comfort in buildings. The second objective is to identify indoor air quality, odor, and noise to control the pollutions of the building. And last but not least, the third objective is to review the suitability of building materials for health and comfort in buildings. So, in order to achieve that 3 objectives, we are going to be covering 5 main topics. First topic is about energy efficiency. Second topic is about indoor environmental quality. The third topic is about sustainable site management, site planning and management. The fourth topic is about construction material and resources. And last but not least, we're going to be covering the fifth topic, which is water efficiency. So, When I talk about sustainable construction, what do I mean? Sustainable construction can be defined as the process to build in a way that is socially, economically, environmentally, functionally, and aesthetically balanced to meet today's needs and to provide and conserve resources for future generations. So that is why the quote in the first minute of this course is really relatable to the definition of sustainable construction that leads me to do this course online. So whatever that we are doing currently will affect the way how we live in the future. So in construction perspective, whatever that we build today will also affect the lives of those who live in the future. In my slide, you can see 3 pictures. These 3 pictures are actually the pictures of our own skyscrapers, the Petronas Twin Towers, which was built early in 1990s. At that point of time, I was like 13 years old. So the first picture shows during that time, during the construction of the Twin Towers, the KLCC. As you can see, KLCC, as you probably know, KLCC was built in the middle of Kuala Lumpur. So I believe in 1990s also, they have faced quite difficult time during construction, especially to balance all these aspects of social, economy, environment, function, and aesthetic. To build such big skyscrapers and high skyscrapers, it's not an easy task. I believe so. And it involves many stakeholders, locally and internationally. But because of they have done quite a good job, after more than 30 years, I think, we still get the benefits from the construction of Petronas Twin Towers. These towers not only act as offices, but also Surya KLCC shopping mall, and also park. This place has been since its construction has been a must visit place whenever that you are in Kuala Lumpur. So I have my supervisor. He's working as a professor back in Imperial College London 10 years ago, when he visited me in Malaysia in 2011. So the first thing he asked me is, where is KLCC? He didn't ask me how was I, but the first thing is he wants to know where is KLCC. So that is actually the impact of such a remarkable building that also becomes the attraction for tourists to come to our country. So this is the kind of building that we should, take an example of whenever that we want to build any facility. The main aims of construction is many, but commonly in construction we are going to have focus on time, quality, cost, health and safety, and also environment. So to build sustainably, we need to make sure all these 5 aspects of or 5 aims of construction can be met. Construction have 6 stages that can be divided to 3 main stages. The first is pre-construction, that covers the concept and feasibility study, the design, and also the documentation for the first stage, which is pre-construction stage. The second stage is construction stage, which covers the phase of construction and inspection and certification. The third stage is post-construction, that will have operation and maintenance phase. So all these 3 stages of construction, which is pre-construction, construction, and post-construction, should be finished before the handover of the project, and will continue in a duration of time that is stipulated in the contract. What you can see in my slide right now is statistics of our local construction industry. This is a report that has been published by the Department of Statistics Malaysia in 11th of May 2021 regarding the GDP, the gross domestic product, which shows the economic stability of our Malaysia, of our country, for the first quarter of 2021. As you all are aware that we are still facing the challenges of COVID-19. As you can see, we have negative 5.6 contraction of GDP in the first quarter of 2021. And these numbers is actually faced by our country 2 times before this. During economic recession in 1998 and in 2009. So similar situation have been faced by us, which we are facing a downturn economic situation. So construction industry is facing the same, where we are having negative 10.4% of development compared to previous quarter. Which the detail is as you can see here. The amount for construction work done in first quarter is ringgit Malaysia 31.4 billion, but this is actually less than what we used to have in good days before COVID times. But what you can see here, we have actually grew quite a good number to compare to the fourth quarter in 2020, which at that time the value of construction work done is negative 14.2. Now the first quarter is negative 10.5%. So it shows less than 5% of increment compared to previous quarter. It shows positive development, but it's still slow. So in construction industry, in local construction industry, we have special trades activities, we have residential buildings, non-residential buildings, and civil engineering works. The growth that have been positive is only in special trades activities. However, in residential buildings, non-residential buildings, and civil engineering in the first quarter of 2021 shows less growth. Selangor, Wilayah Persekutuan, and Sarawak are the three main states that contributed 57.6% of all value work done in the first quarter of 2021. Out of these 31.4 ringgit Malaysia, 31.4 billion ringgit Malaysia, 55.2% are actually work being done by private sector, and the rest 44.8% is by public sector. So here you can see how our local construction industry, the health of our construction industry during COVID time. So it can be said that it affected us all, and pre-COVID times, the United Nations have actually published an EIA report in 2019 that shows the energy use and emissions of greenhouse gases throughout the world. As you can see in these two pie charts, the right hand side shows the energy usage of all the industries, and the right hand is about emissions of all the industries as shown. So for energy usage, you can see the industry that tops the chart is other industry, and then transport industry that use energy the most. Residential and non-residential follows after transport. But the main thing that relates to us is construction industry. Construction industry use 6% of total energy usage. So it's quite big number. Compared to the emissions, the total emissions, The industry that tops the chart is other industry, followed by transport, and then by our own construction industry, which is 11%. Our construction industry emitted greenhouse gases that amount to 11% of total emissions globally. So what does UN say about this? UN says in its report, in its AIA report in 2019, decarbonizing the buildings and construction sector is critical to achieve the Paris Agreement commitment and the United Nations UN Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. Yet, 2019 Global Status Report on Buildings and Construction informs that the sector is not on track with the level of climate action necessary. On the contrary, final energy demand in buildings in 2018 rise 1% from 2017 and 7% from 2010. It shows that construction industry use energy and emitted greenhouse gases that impact the whole world. So we need to do something about this, which requires us to build sustainably. What is the impact of construction, you may say? We can look at the impact of construction from three perspectives. The first perspective is on environmental impact, which we can see from our surroundings whenever that we are in project site. Whether we want to take a hit or not, there's something else that need to be considered. But commonly, the impact of construction, we can usually see it in our environment. One of the impacts is resource depletion, aesthetic degradation, emissions of greenhouse gas, and also waste generation. The second aspect of the impact of construction we can see from the economic impact. One of the impacts is corruption in construction, land use change, and also energy use. Last but not least, the third aspect of the impact is from social impact. We can see the impact of construction through the disruption of communities, safety, building sickness syndrome, and reduced standard of living. These are the impacts of construction. So, in order to reduce the impacts of construction from that three aspects, we need to know the principles and strategies so that we can help to better manage all these impacts. So there are three principles that will involve many strategies to help us to do this sustainable construction. The first principle is resource management. The second principle is life cycle design. And the third principle is design for human. So, in order to apply the first principle, which is resource management, we have strategies. For example, like efficient use of energy, efficient use of water, efficient use of materials, and efficient use of land. If we opt to apply the second principle, which is life cycle design, we can apply the strategies such as pre-building strategies, building strategies, and post-building strategies according to construction stage. And last but not least, if we choose to apply the design for human in our construction to construct buildings sustainably, we can use these strategies, which is the preservation of natural conditions, conserving cultural resources, and protecting health and comfort. So what I've shared with you are the principles and strategies to sustainably construct facility, which is resource management, life cycle design, and design for human. Let's go one by one. The first principle is resource management. As mentioned, we have 4 strategies if we want to apply the resource management principle. The first strategy is efficient use of energy. The second strategy is efficient use of water. The third strategy is efficient use of materials. And last strategy is efficient use of land. You have multiple methods to choose from if you opt to apply these 4 strategies. If perhaps you want to apply the first strategy for the first principle, which is the efficient use of energy, there are methods to apply these strategies. This includes low energy urban development, passive heating and cooling through orientation, using alternative energy sources, choosing materials with a low embodied energy, avoidance of heat gain and loss through insulation and additional devices, and also utilizing energy efficient equipment. That are the methods that you can choose from if you decide to apply the strategy of efficient use of energy. If let's say you want to use the energy, if you want to use the strategy of efficient use of water, so there are methods that you can choose from. First is potable water reduction, utilizing non-potable water substitution systems. You can recycle water, or designing low demand landscaping, or you can also collect rainwater. If you choose to use or apply the efficient use of water. If you want to use the efficient use of material strategy, you also have some methods to choose from. The methods include adapting existing buildings to new uses, incorporating recycled or reclaimed materials, reducing materials used by properly sizing the building, selecting durable materials, selecting materials that are recyclable, and reducing waste material. That is if you opt to use efficient use of materials. If you want to choose efficient use of land as your strategy, these are the methods that you can choose from. Using existing built environment, respecting the natural landscape, and preventing the expansion of the built environment. So what I've been talking about now is the first principle, the resource management. So the first principle of resource management have 4 strategies, which is efficient use of energy, efficient use of water, efficient use of materials, and efficient use of land. So you can choose all the methods that I have already enlisted in this PowerPoint. Let's talk about the second principle, which is life cycle design. So you have 3 stages that is in accordance to the construction stage that can be used as your strategy if you opt to use the principle life cycle design, the second principle. So pre-building strategies, if you want to use this, you have a couple of methods. First is select the appropriate site, use of design a flexible design, and select sustainable materials and products. That are the methods that can be applied pre-building, pre-construction. During construction, during building of the facility, you can choose from this method. Minimize site impact using non-toxic construction materials and products, and also apply waste management. That is during construction or building. For post-building strategy, there are methods include the adaptive reuse of an existing building and reusing building materials and components and recycling materials. So that are the 3 strategies and methods that can be applied if you want to use the principle, the second principle of life cycle design for sustainable construction. The third principle is design for human. There are 3 strategies involved. First is preservation of natural conditions. Second is conserving cultural resources. And the third is to protect health and comfort. The methods that you can use is, if you want to use the preservation of natural conditions strategy, is to respect topographical condition, preserve the water table, reduce the urban heat island effect, and preserve existing flora and fauna. If you choose to use the second strategy, which is conserving cultural resources, the methods that you can opt to use is conserving the urban context and preserve historical buildings. The third strategy is protecting health and comfort. So the methods includes thermal comfort, daylighting, natural ventilation, acoustic comfort, those aspects that actually you can focus on to protect health and comfort of the building occupants. You can also select non-toxic, non-outgassing furniture, flooring, water finishes, and cleaning and maintenance materials. So that are the third principle, which is design for human. So basically, you have been exposed to the principles and strategies to apply sustainable construction. So the principles are resource management, life cycle design, and design for human. There are strategies and respective methods that I've shared with you on how to construct sustainably. So whenever that we are talking about sustainable construction, we cannot run from talking about the green building. What is the definition of green building? A green building focuses on increasing the efficiency of resource use, which is energy, water, and materials, while reducing building impact on human health and the environment during the building's life cycle through better siting, design, construction, operation, maintenance, and removal. Green buildings should be designed and operated to reduce the overall impact of the built environment on its surrounding. So that is the definition of green building. What you can see here is a diagram that has been published by the World Green Building Council that relates the green building to each sustainable development goals. Green buildings can improve people's health and well-being. So by having green building, you can help our nation to achieve the third SDG, which is good health and well-being. Green buildings can use renewable energy, becoming cheaper to run. The benefits of having a green building is you can help our nation to achieve the seventh SDG, which is affordable and clean energy. Building green infrastructure creates jobs and boosts the economy. So by declaring your project as a green building, you can help to increase the decent work and economic growth, which is the 8th SDG. Green building design can spur innovation and contribute to climate resilient infrastructure. By having you constructing green building, you can help the 9th SDG, which is the industry, innovation, and infrastructure. Green buildings are the fabric of sustainable communities and cities, as what has been outlined in the 11th SDG, which is sustainable cities and communities. Green buildings use circular principles where resources aren't wasted. If you build a green building, you can help our nation to achieve the Sustainable Development Goal, the 12th SDG, which is responsible consumption and production. Green buildings produce fewer emissions, helping to combat climate change. Obviously, when you have a green building, you will help to achieve the 13th Sustainable Development Goal, which is to combat the climate change. Green buildings can improve biodiversity, save water, resources, and help to protect forests. This is the goal of the 15th SDG, which is life on land. Last but not least, through building green, we create strong global partnerships, as been outlined in the 17th partnerships for the goals. So these are 9 SDGs that relates the benefits of green building and achieving all those goals. So by constructing a green building, you will help our nation to achieve the SDG and also create a better environment for us now and our future self. So, throughout the world, green building indices have been used. As you can see in this slide, I've listed 4 green building index that has been used by each country mentioned. First is in the US, which they have leadership in energy and environmental design, or also known as LEED. The second one is Green Star, that has been used in Australia. The third one is Green Mark Singapore. And last but not least, our country itself, okay, the Green Building Index. So these are global green building indices, which can help companies that is involved in construction industry achieve global green building status. If they have the green building status, they will get benefits. So there are differences between each of these green building indices in terms of the assessment criteria. As you can see, the numbers of criteria is actually different. LEED USA, it has 6 assessment criteria. Green Star Australia, it has the highest number of assessment criteria, which means much more detailed and comprehensive, which they have 9 assessment criteria. In Singapore, the Green Mark, they have 5 assessment criteria. And in our country itself, we have 6 main assessment criteria in our GBI. Although there are different numbers, but basically there are covering the same aspects as what we have discussed in our principles. So in LEED USA, they have 6 assessment criteria, which is sustainable site, water efficiency, energy and atmosphere, materials and resources, indoor environmental quality, and innovation and design or construction process. So that is the assessment criteria used by LEED USA if anyone who wants to declare their project, their construction project, their construction building is a green building. So in Australia, it's different. They have 9 assessment criteria. First is management, second is transport, third is ecology, fourth is emissions, 5 is water, 6 is energy, 7 is materials, 8 is indoor environmental quality, and last but not least, 9, innovation. So these are the assessment criteria used by Australia in its Green Star to declare its building as a green building. In Singapore, it's different. It has less number of assessment criteria. It only have 5 criteria, which is first is energy efficiency, second is water efficiency, third is environmental protection, 4 is indoor environmental quality, and 5 is other green features. It's quite different from what we have in Malaysia. We have 6 assessment criteria, which is energy efficiency, indoor environmental quality, sustainable site management, materials and resources, water efficiency, and innovation. So Malaysia, as usual, using best management practices. We learn from all these nations who have already started using this green building index, and we adopt it in our own practice. So that's what you can see here. Okay, we have 6 GBI. Okay, in order for any construction companies, they want to declare their building as a green building, they need to be assessed using these 6 assessment criteria, which is energy efficiency, indoor environmental quality, sustainable site planning and management, material resources, water efficiency, and also innovation. In detail, if anyone who is in the construction industry wants to declare its building as a green building, they need to fulfill this assessment criteria. So the first assessment criteria is, like I said, is energy efficiency. They need to show that their design and their practices can improve energy consumption by optimizing building orientation, minimizing solar heat gain through the building envelope, harvesting natural lighting, adopting the best practices in building services, including use of renewable energy, and ensuring proper testing, commissioning, and regular maintenance. So any construction company need to fulfill this energy efficiency assessment criteria. The second assessment criteria is indoor environmental quality. The construction company need to show that they can achieve good quality performance in indoor air quality, acoustics, visual, and thermal comfort. This will involve the use of low volatile organic compound materials, application of quality air filtration, proper control of air temperature, movement, and humidity. So that is the second assessment criteria if any construction companies who seek for the status of green building in Malaysia. The third assessment criteria is on water efficiency. They need to show that they can do rainwater harvesting, water recycling, and water saving fittings. The fourth assessment criteria is about material and resources. Any construction company in Malaysia who seek for a status of green building need to show that they can promote the use of environment-friendly materials sourced from sustainable sources and recycling, implement proper construction waste management with storage, collection, and reuse of recyclables and construction formwork and waste. So the fourth assessment criteria of GBI Malaysia is on sustainable site planning and management. So if your company wants to seek status of green building for your own project, you need to make sure that you fulfill this criteria. You need to show that you select appropriate sites with planned access to public transportation, community services, open spaces, and landscaping. Avoiding and conserving environmentally sensitive areas through the redevelopment of existing sites and brownfields. You should also implement proper construction management, stormwater management, and reduce the strain on existing infrastructure capacity. Last but not least, the assessment criteria of GBI in order to get green building status is innovation. You need to show that you have an innovative design and initiatives that meet the objectives of the GBI. So that are the 6 assessment criteria that you should consider to fulfill whenever that you are seeking for Malaysia's Green Building Index status. So that is all for the first chapter of this course. I hope that you have gained and gathered information, basic information, before we can proceed to the next course outline. So see you soon, and thank you for listening.